Welcome to the Great Indian AI Podcast channel, your portal to the profound wisdom of Indian thought. Today we're diving deep into a text that's not just ancient scripture, but a vibrant guide for navigating the complexities of life, the Bhagavad Gita.
And it's remarkable how the Bhagavad Gita, composed centuries ago, remains so incredibly relevant even today.
Absolutely. You know, on the Great Indian AI Podcast channel, we always aim to bring you the richest insights from our deep dives.
It speaks to the timeless human search for meaning, purpose, and inner peace, offering profound insights that transcend time and cultural boundaries.
So stay with us to the very end for a treasure trove of wisdom that you can apply to your own life no matter your background. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Great Indian AI Podcast channel for more such enriching content.
Now, I know many of you listening are already familiar with the basics, so we won't dwell on those.
Instead, we'll be unpacking some less explored facets of the Gita, delving into its deeper layers of meaning and interpretation.
The Gita is like a multifaceted gem. Each time you turn it, a new facet sparkles with insight. For instance, most people know it's a dialogue between Prince Arjuna and Krishna on a battlefield.
Right.
But did you know that the conversation itself is a masterclass in emotional intelligence? Arjuna's vulnerability and Krishna's compassionate guidance offer a powerful model for navigating inner turmoil.
That's such a great point. It's not just about abstract philosophy. It's a deeply human story about facing difficult choices and finding that inner strength.
Exactly. And speaking of choices, the Gita doesn't prescribe a single path to liberation. It offers a variety of yogas, acknowledging that individuals may find resonance with different approaches.
You know, that always struck me as incredibly inclusive. The Gita isn't saying, this is the way. It's more like, here are multiple pathways, find what resonates with your own heart.
Right.
Which, to me, is quite beautiful.
I completely agree. It invites us to explore different spiritual practices and discover what truly aligns with our inner being. It's about personal exploration, not rigid adherence to dogma.
And it seems like the Gita constantly emphasizes this balance, this middle path.
Yes.
Whether it's in the context of action versus inaction, or renunciation versus engagement with the world.
Absolutely. Take the concept of karma yoga, for instance. It's not about passivity, it's about performing actions with detachment from the results. It encourages a mindful engagement with the world where we act with purpose, but without clinging to outcomes.
So it's about doing what needs to be done without getting entangled in the ego's desire for rewards or recognition. It's a subtle but profound shift in perspective.
Precisely. And this emphasis on inner transformation is what makes the Gita so powerful. It's not about changing external circumstances, but about cultivating inner peace and wisdom that can help us navigate life's challenges with grace and equanimity.
It sounds like the Gita offers a framework for not just spiritual growth, but also for developing a more resilient and balanced approach to life in general.
It certainly does, and that's what makes it so relevant today. It speaks to the anxieties and dilemmas of modern life, offering timeless wisdom for finding peace and purpose in a world that can often feel chaotic and overwhelming.
Now, I know a lot of discussions around the Gita tend to focus on the concept of dharma, often translated as duty, but I find it interesting how the Gita itself presents dharma as a multifaceted concept, not just about blind obedience to societal rules.
That's a crucial point. The Gita's understanding of Dharma goes beyond fulfilling societal expectations. It's about aligning oneself with a deeper cosmic order, a sense of right action that springs from an understanding of one's true nature and purpose.
So it's less about external rules and more about cultivating an inner compass that guides our actions in a way that's both ethical and fulfilling.
Yes, it's about aligning our actions with our deepest values and striving to live a life of integrity and purpose.
And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of the Gita: its historical context and the various interpretations it has inspired.
Yes, the Gita has been a source of inspiration and debate for centuries, giving rise to diverse schools of thought within Hinduism and beyond. From Advaita Vedanta's emphasis on non-dualism to bhakti traditions that highlight devotion, the Gita's richness lies in its capacity to resonate with different philosophical perspectives.
So even within Hinduism, there isn't one definitive interpretation. The Gita seems to invite multiple perspectives and interpretations.
That's precisely what makes it so engaging. It encourages us to engage with the text, contemplate its teachings, and arrive at our own understanding. And that process of contemplation is what truly deepens our connection with the Gita's wisdom.
It's like a conversation that continues across centuries, with each generation finding new meaning and relevance in its verses.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of the Gita. It's a living text that continues to evolve and inspire, offering fresh perspectives and profound insights for those who seek its wisdom.
And speaking of fresh perspectives, one of the things that always intrigued me about the Gita is how it addresses the concept of violence, especially considering its setting on a battlefield.
That's a very important question and one that has been the subject of much discussion and debate. The Gita acknowledges the complexities and moral dilemmas of violence, particularly in the context of war. It doesn't glorify violence, but presents it as a necessary evil in certain situations, particularly when it comes to upholding dharma and protecting the innocent.
So it's not a pacifist text, but it doesn't advocate for violence for its own sake either.
Exactly. It emphasizes the importance of right intention, of acting with a sense of detachment and without hatred or anger, even when engaging in conflict.
So it's about discerning when action is necessary and then performing that action with a sense of inner peace and equanimity.
Precisely. The Gita's approach to violence is nuanced and complex, inviting us to contemplate the ethical dilemmas involved and to strive for a path of action that minimizes harm while upholding righteousness.
And this brings us back to the idea of inner renunciation that we were discussing earlier.
Yes, even in the midst of conflict, the Gita encourages us to cultivate a sense of detachment from the outcomes of our actions. It's about acting with a sense of duty and purpose, but without becoming attached to the results.
So it's about finding that delicate balance between engaging in the world, fulfilling our responsibilities, and at the same time cultivating an inner detachment from the fruits of our actions.
Exactly. And that's a practice that extends far beyond the battlefield. It's relevant to all aspects of life, whether we're dealing with work, relationships, or any situation that requires us to act with both wisdom and compassion.
This conversation is already proving so insightful, and we've just begun to scratch the surface. I'm eager to dive deeper into the specific yogas outlined in the Gita and how they offer different pathways to spiritual growth and self-realization.
Yes. Each yoga offers a unique lens through which to understand the Gita's teachings and apply them to our lives. They highlight different aspects of human nature and offer a variety of practices that can lead to inner transformation.
Before we move on to that, I just want to remind our listeners to like, share, and subscribe to the Great Indian AI podcast channel for more insightful content.
We'll be right back after a short break to explore these paths in more detail right here on the Great Indian AI podcast channel. Stay tuned for more.
We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into the profound wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Great Indian AI podcast channel. We are engrossed in a fascinating exploration of the Bhagavad Gita, a text that speaks volumes about self-discovery and navigating life's complexities.
You know, one of the things that I find so compelling about the Gita is that it doesn't just present these profound philosophical concepts in the abstract. It actually offers practical pathways for integrating them into our lives.
Exactly, and that's where the different yogas come in. These aren't just physical postures as we might think of yoga in the modern context. They are spiritual disciplines, paths to self-realization. The Gita outlines several, including karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga.
So it's like having different routes leading to the same destination, moksha, liberation, that state of ultimate freedom.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that the Gita doesn't elevate one path above another. It's almost as if the Gita is saying that these different yogas are simply tools, and the choice of tool depends on the individual and where they are on their journey.
Right. That resonates with me. It's acknowledging that we all have different temperaments, inclinations, and life experiences that shape our spiritual paths.
Absolutely. And that's why the Gita offers a diverse toolkit for spiritual growth. Now let's delve into each of these yogas a bit deeper. Let's start with karma yoga.
All right, karma yoga. I always find this one particularly intriguing because it seems to address that age-old dilemma of action versus inaction.
Indeed. Karma yoga isn't about renouncing action altogether. It's about acting with a sense of detachment from the fruits of those actions. It's about dedicating your efforts to a higher purpose, to the service of others, and to the greater good.
So it's about changing our attitude towards action, rather than avoiding action itself. It's about acting with a sense of non-attachment, recognizing that the results of our actions are not ultimately in our control.
That's right. In the Gita, Krishna emphasizes that we have a right to perform our duty, but not to the fruits of our actions. The outcomes are not in our hands. So by letting go of that desire for control, that need to manipulate outcomes, we actually free ourselves from the weight of expectations and anxieties.
And that can be incredibly liberating. I mean, imagine approaching your work, your relationships, your life in general with that kind of detachment. It wouldn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It would just mean shifting your focus from the outcome to the intention behind your actions.
Yes, precisely. It's a profound shift in perspective that can have a ripple effect on all aspects of our lives. Now, in contrast to Karma Yoga's emphasis on action, we have Bhakti Yoga, which focuses on devotion.
Yes, Bhakti Yoga. I've always been drawn to the idea of cultivating a deep connection with the divine through love and surrender. It seems to speak to a very primal human need for connection and belonging.
That's true. Bhakti Yoga involves cultivating a deep love and surrender to the divine. It's about directing your thoughts, emotions, and actions towards the object of your devotion. In the context of the Gita, that object of devotion is Krishna.
It's about going beyond the ritualistic aspects of religion and cultivating a personal, heartfelt connection with the divine. It's about experiencing the joy and fulfillment that comes from surrendering to a higher power and recognizing the divine presence in everything.
Exactly. Bhakti Yoga is a path of the heart. It's about allowing love and devotion to guide your actions and shape your perception of the world.
And what I find so beautiful about Bhakti Yoga is that it recognizes the transformative power of love. It suggests that through cultivating love and devotion, we can purify our hearts and minds and move closer to a state of unity with the divine.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Now let's move on to Jnana Yoga, which is the path of knowledge and self-realization.
Jnana Yoga. This one seems to appeal to those who are more intellectually inclined, those who seek understanding through inquiry and contemplation.
That's right. Jnana Yoga emphasizes the pursuit of wisdom and the understanding of the true nature of the self. It's about discriminating between the eternal and the impermanent, the self and the non-self.
It's about using our intellect and reasoning to arrive at a deeper understanding of reality and our place in it.
Exactly. In Jnana Yoga, knowledge isn't just about accumulating information. It's about a transformative understanding that leads to self-realization. It's about recognizing that our true self is not limited to our body or our mind, but is one with the universal consciousness, the Brahman.
It's fascinating how the Gita acknowledges the importance of both intellect and intuition on the spiritual path. It's not about choosing one over the other, but about integrating both head and heart in the pursuit of truth.
Yes, and in that sense, Jnana Yoga isn't just a dry intellectual pursuit. It also involves deep contemplation and meditation, practices that can help us quiet the mind and access deeper levels of wisdom and insight.
Now, finally, we have Raja Yoga, often referred to as the path of meditation.
Raja Yoga involves using various techniques to control the mind and attain higher states of consciousness. It's about stilling the fluctuations of the mind and experiencing the peace and bliss that lies within. It utilizes techniques like pranayama, breath control, concentration, and meditation to attain mastery over the mind and its tendencies.
It's about training the mind to focus inward and experience the true nature of reality beyond the distractions of the external world. It seems to address that very human challenge of finding stillness and peace amidst the constant chatter of our minds.
Yes. And in a world filled with constant stimulation and distraction, Raja Yoga offers a path to cultivate inner peace and clarity. It reminds us that true peace doesn't lie in external circumstances, but in the depth of our own being.
And what I find inspiring about these different yogas is that they are not mutually exclusive. They can be practiced in conjunction with one another.
Absolutely. In fact, many spiritual seekers find that integrating different yogas enhances their practice. For example, someone practicing Bhakti Yoga might also incorporate elements of Karma Yoga by engaging in selfless service as an expression of their devotion.
So it's not about rigidly adhering to one path, but about creating a personalized approach that draws from the wisdom of different yogas.
That's right. The Gita encourages us to find what resonates with us, to experiment, and to create a spiritual practice that nourishes our hearts and minds. It's about finding the path that leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, our connection to the divine, and our place in the universe.
And this exploration of the yogas brings us to another crucial aspect of the Gita, which is its impact and influence on various cultures throughout history.
The Gita's influence extends far beyond the realm of religious practice. Its teachings on ethics, leadership, and the pursuit of excellence have resonated with leaders, thinkers, and artists for centuries. It's been translated into countless languages, studied by scholars from diverse disciplines, and its verses have inspired countless works of art, literature, and music.
And speaking of its impact on different cultures, the Gita's influence isn't confined to India. It's gained a global following. with people from various backgrounds finding inspiration and wisdom in its verses.
It's a testament to the Gita's universal appeal. It speaks to the human condition in a way that transcends cultural and religious boundaries. It's a text that speaks to the heart and mind, offering guidance and inspiration for anyone seeking a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
Now, before we move on to explore some of the more nuanced interpretations of the Gita and its impact on different cultures, I want to remind our listeners to like, share, and subscribe to the Great Indian AI podcast channel for more insightful content.
We'll be back in a moment with more profound discussions on the Bhagavad Gita right here on the Great Indian AI podcast channel.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to continue our exploration of the profound wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita.
Welcome back to the Great Indian AI podcast channel. We're in the midst of a captivating journey through the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita.
You know what's striking about the Gita is its ability to speak to such a wide range of human experiences. For instance, we've been discussing its relevance to individual spiritual growth, but it also has profound implications for leadership and ethical decision-making.
Absolutely. The Gita's teachings on dharma, karma, and selfless action offer a powerful framework for leaders in all walks of life. It emphasizes the importance of leading with integrity, compassion, and a deep sense of responsibility for the well-being of others.
So it's not just about personal liberation, it's about using that wisdom to create a more just and compassionate world.
Precisely. The Gita encourages us to see our actions as ripples that extend outward, impacting not just ourselves, but also our families, our communities, and the world at large.
And that sense of interconnectedness, of recognizing the impact of our actions on others. That seems particularly relevant in today's world, where we're facing global challenges that require collective action and a sense of shared responsibility.
It's as if the Gita offers a timeless blueprint for ethical leadership, one that emphasizes the importance of wisdom, compassion, and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things.
Now, I know we've touched on the idea of the Gita's global influence, but I'm curious to hear more about how its message has been interpreted and embraced by different cultures throughout history.
The Gita's impact on global thought is truly remarkable. Its message of self-realization, duty, and selfless action has resonated with people from diverse backgrounds, inspiring leaders, thinkers, and artists across cultures.
For example, I've read about how Mahatma Gandhi drew inspiration from the Gita's teachings on nonviolence and selfless service in his struggle for India's independence.
Oh, right.
He saw the Gita as a guide for living a life of purpose and integrity, even in the face of oppression and injustice.
Gandhi's interpretation is a powerful example of how the Gita's message can be adapted and applied to different contexts. He saw the battlefield in the Gita as a metaphor for the inner struggles we all face. His interpretation highlights the Gita's relevance to social justice movements and the pursuit of a more just and equitable world.
It's fascinating how the Gita's message can be interpreted in so many ways, offering guidance and inspiration for navigating both personal and collective challenges.
And that's part of what makes it such a timeless and enduring text. It speaks to the universal human search for meaning, purpose, and connection, offering a path of self-discovery and spiritual growth that transcends cultural and religious boundaries.
It's like a wellspring of wisdom that continues to nourish and inspire generation after generation, offering insights that are as relevant today as they were centuries ago.
And what's beautiful is that this journey of exploration and discovery never truly ends. The Gita invites us to engage with its teachings throughout our lives, to contemplate its wisdom, and to allow its message to guide us on our own unique paths to self-realization.
This deep dive has been truly enriching. It's deepened my appreciation for the Bhagavad Gita's profound wisdom and its ability to speak to the complexities of human experience. I'm so glad we could share this exploration with our listeners on the Great Indian AI podcast channel.
And remember, this is just a glimpse into the vast tapestry of Indian thought and philosophy. There's a whole world of wisdom waiting to be explored.
Yes, and we'll be here on the Great Indian AI podcast channel to guide you through it. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful deep dives into the heart of Indian culture and wisdom.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of the Bhagavad Gita. We hope you've gained valuable insights and a renewed appreciation for this timeless text.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.